Hey guys, and welcome to Creative You Art Lesson Crates. This is Karen, and I'm your instructor for today. Welcome to our Finding Dory lesson. Dory is an adorable character from the Finding Nemo movie. She recently, 13 years later, has a movie of her own. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. It is a very sweet movie. There are some very funny points in it. It's just a well done movie. You tend to forget that it's a cartoon, honestly. Dory is a forgetful fish. She has a short-term memory loss, and so she doesn't remember very much. And in the course of the second movie, she starts to remember teeny tiny bits. So then she's on a search to find her family. We're going to draw baby Dory. I think she is absolutely adorable, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with her. Now, we're going to be using our pencils and our pencil pack. Now, we have a lot here, and we're not going to use everything that is in the pencil pack. You will notice that the reddish tipped ones are watercolor. These with like the tan edge are just pencil colors. Don't mix the two, because if you color something with a pencil color and think it's a watercolor, it's not going to blend. It's not going to bleed. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to get wet. So if you decide you want to do Dory as a watercolor painting, you will use these. If you want to do her as a regular pencil color drawing, you will use these. You have that option. You also notice that in your pack you have two blue pencils. You have a 2B and an HB. And how do I know that? I'm reading it right here. The letters and numbers determine how dark or light the pencil is, or in artist terms, how hard or soft the lead is. H is soft. B is hard. Forget that, scratch that, flip it. B is hard. Soft. I cannot get this right to save my life. My goodness. All right. So B is black. It is a very soft lead. More lead comes out each time you draw it. Therefore, it is darker. The higher number, the darker it is. Think of stairs. If you're going upstairs, the higher the number, the taller you are, the darker you are. The higher the number H, the harder the lead, and the lighter the pencil lead will be. So if you really want to draw a very, very soft drawing, use a very high number H. Okay, that was exhausting. All right, so now you have a white pencil. White pencils are really good for drawing on dark paper. One of my lessons whenever I was in college was we had a piece of black paper, a flashlight, and a wine glass. And we had to put the flashlight on the wine glass and only draw the shine. You couldn't draw the wine glass. It was one of the hardest projects I've ever done in my entire life. Even to this day, I cringe thinking about it. It was very hard to not draw the object, but to just draw the shine. Well, the white pencil color is the way you would do it. And here you are with hard, soft, and medium charcoals. Charcoals are one of my favorite mediums. They blend really well. You can use these things called torchons, which kind of look like a pointed piece of toilet paper roll. You use these to blend. You can use your fingers. You can use rolled up paper, Q-tips, anything like that. So charcoals are really, really fun to use. And we will be working with charcoals in other lessons. All right, you'll also find that you have some very thick paper. This thick paper is a artist quality paper. It is not inexpensive, so be very kind when using it. Don't waste it, because it's fine quality. It holds up through time. It's just a really good paper. And it's thick because if you need to rub it or paint on it, you don't want to make a hole. So it's nice and thick. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our baby Dory. We need to make an oval for her head. We're going to draw softly The way I do shapes is I just have my hand do them over and over and over again. Eventually, you're going to find that you start making a pretty decent little oval or circle or square, whatever shape you're trying to make. Now, yeah, you're going to have a couple outside lines, but that's okay. You're going to erase those later. So here's our oval, and we need to determine our center line. She's going to be angled a little bit, so I did my center line a little sideways. You can do yours straight up and down if you want to. Okay, let's go ahead and determine where her eyes are going to be. Her eyes are very emotive. They're very large, and we want to get them just right. So I'm doing a very large parentheses and parentheses. It's almost like someone pinched your oval. Now this eye is going to come out of her face. So it's going to swoop up and come out and come back in. This eye will as well, but this eye is a little bit further away, so it's not as large. We're going to make a large pupil, or I'm sorry, iris on both eyes. A large pupil. And a very large shine. The shine needs to be in the same spot on both eyes. That's how you can tell that something is wet. It'll have a shine. So then we're going to go with our smile, which is going to be down a little ways. It is literally just a very classic open mouth smile. Nothing overly difficult about that one. Now the head shape needs to come more to a point at your line. Not an extreme point, but definitely a little less rounded at the bottom. And up here, she has a very faint pattern design to her. So I went up, curve, and down. A smile and a smile. And then over here, down by the point, not quite touching, we're going to do another one that comes up. Go ahead and have this one meet up with it. And bring it down to the eye. I know that was a little confusing. Not quite to the end of this piece here. Come over a touch, bring it out and down. Have this one meet up. Now this one I feel like it's a little too extreme, so I'm going to curve it a little bit more. This part of the face needs to meet up with this part of the face, as does this one. If there were like an imaginary line cutting through, you would need to make sure that this line and this line meet up. We're going to come down low. We're going to give her a little fin. Do it again over here. And then she has a larger fin, which is more of her tail. And believe it or not, that is Dory. I know it doesn't look quite right yet because she's not colored. She doesn't have her distinct characteristics. I'm going to use a permanent marker, and I'm going to go ahead and draw the very basic lines that I want to make sure I see. Take your time with this part. You don't want to mess her up because you're rushing. And also notice that I'm turning my paper as I go because I don't want to rub her out, smear her. So just turn as you go. Go ahead and draw the eyes, the shine, the pupil, the iris. Her fins. And there we go. There she is. Now if you'd like to add wording, you can. Totally up to you. I'm going to freehand it. I look at you and I'm home. Nothing spectacular about that writing. It's just simple, cursive. It's purely optional. If you don't like it, don't do it. Now we need to get our eraser. Any eraser will do. I'm using just a basic school eraser. Go through, erase all of the pencil lines that you don't need. Sometimes when you do artwork, you like the pencil lines. It shows that you've sketched and drawn, and it really gives it kind of an artsy look to it. But sometimes you don't need it or want it. This is one of those times that I personally don't want the sketch lines. If you decide you really like them, keep them. Okay. Now I'm going to use my watercolor pencils. Seems only right since she does live underwater. You do not have to use watercolor pencils. When you're using regular pencil colors, you will still fill her in the same way I do with the watercolor pencils. The only thing is you're not going to use water at the end to blend it all together. So let's go ahead and get started. She is a blue fish, but she also has purple highlights. So we're going to start off with blue. Go ahead and fill her whole body with the blue. Remember, make sure that you're using the watercolor pencils. Fill her in. I'm going to go ahead and pause and fill and be back in just a second. Okay, so Dory has been colored in with the blue. Now I need to add some purple highlights. If you pretend the purple is kind of like eyeshadow, and go above the eyes, in these little dents, and this one here, a touch of purple in the center here. We're going to go ahead and do the eyeshadow on this side. It doesn't have to be exact. You notice I'm kind of scribbling it in. Now, if you're doing this as a pencil color drawing only, you may want to be a little bit more exact, and you may want to try and blend them a little bit better. Maybe keep your lines a little more uniform. But if you're doing it as a watercolor, just add the color. Let's do under the eyes, down the face, under the eyes, down the face, a little bit under here, under where a pretend nose would be. Don't make her look like she has a mustache, just a little bit under there. And a little bit under the mouth. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the black, almost fully up her tail or her fin, but you want zigzaggy lines. It is a very zigzaggy design, so that's okay if you're a little off. Same thing here. All right, same thing here. We're going to do the pupils of her eyes. Don't do the shine. Shine needs to stay white. And to add a little bit of shadow to the body, we're going to add a touch of black to the purple and blue. We're going to do that, oh, forgot the mouth. We're going to do that by adding a tiny bit over here. The darkest areas need to be dark, dark, dark. We have some over here, very dark area over here. Maybe up here. I'm just following my inspiration piece. Wherever it's the darkest, I'm adding the darkest. Now there is shadow on the edge of the eye. Not a lot, but there is some. There's also some shadow on the part that's going to be red. Let's go ahead and grab our red. It's kind of creepy that she has red eyes, but you know, that's her species. Not judging, not judging. Fill her in. All right, and we'll do the other one. Let's grab the yellow. Do the ends of the fins. And for a little added kick, let's grab the orange and tip the edges. Okay, I want to go back and add a little bit more black to the red because we need some shadow, because this little edge is going to darken the eye. Same thing over here, just a little bit of shadow. Finally, if you would like to add bubbles, you're going to take your blue and draw a circle. And sometimes they touch, sometimes they don't. There should be a variety of colors, or not colors, of shapes. If you have bubbles touching, it's going to be a circle next to a circle, okay? Now, if you have bubble where one is in front of the other, you'll have a circle and a semicircle. Okay? Put them wherever you want them. There you go. All right, the last step is going to be wetting this picture so these colors blend. If you pencil colored this and you want to leave it as is, then you'll want to sign your artwork and call it done. If you're going to watercolor this, go ahead and get a napkin and a small container of clean, fresh water. Faucet water is totally fine, but it needs to be clean. So meet back here in just a second. And poof, we have water. We have water, and we have napkin, and we have paintbrush. This is a paintbrush. It is wood. There's a metal barrel, and then you have bristles. Take care of your brush. These brushes are not meant to be disposable. They should last a very long time. They are synthetic hair, which means they are not real human hair, horse hair, rabbit hair, any of that kind of stuff. They are just manufactured. But you'll also notice that the bristles go one direction. Keep them going one direction. Don't go against the grain. You'll give your brush a bad hair day. It's going to make your picture look bad, and it'll be virtually impossible to do fine details. So we're going to wet my brush, come over to Dory, and I'm going to start painting her in. Only put paint or water where you want to paint at this very moment. So like I don't want to go into the mouth yet, so I'm not painting that area. You're going to find that it starts to kind of fill in any area that you might have missed. If you don't see much of a difference, then maybe you didn't press hard enough. And if that's the case, you'll want to let it dry and then add more pencil color to it. Turn your paper as you paint. Now this is very important. When it comes to watercolors, it is very, very wet, right? Hence the word watercolor. If you paint a wet spot next to a wet spot, you can very easily make those colors blend together, and that is not a good thing. So work section by section, let that area dry a decent amount, and then move on. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to paint the pupils, let's go ahead and come down to the yellow. Now we can do the mouth, but be very gentle. Just use the very tip of the brush. The reds of the eyes. Now look right here, I have a little bit right where I didn't want it. Fixed it pretty easily. Final thing we're going to do are the bubbles. Just wet it and let the blue spread. And there she is, our cute little Dory, watercolored. You'll notice the blending. I didn't do much to it other than let the water do its own thing. What you'll want to do now as an artist is sign your artwork and call it done. I want to thank you for joining us for our Dory lesson. It's been really fun working with you. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to working with you real soon on other projects. Thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful day.